welcome to Dirt Corps. As a team member of a group of dynamic entertainment resource professionals, we maintain servers for some of the world's top online gaming corporations. First rule of Dirt Corps, you should know, is that you always exceed the client's expectations. And we do that by holding frequent review meetings that we'll see today, where we review different areas to make sure our systems are running the way we want them to. So in a moment, one by one, each of my colleagues will come up and talk about his area of expertise. And I'll ask you to sit back, relax, enjoy, and please hold your questions during the presentation. Troy Rutherford.
Morning. My name is Troy Rutherford. The Dirt Corps company that we decided to build involved 3 locations. We decided to use a parent-child domain structure, with LA and New York being part of our parent domain, and Sweden, EU Dirt.Corp being in our child domain. We chose to go with this structure to share a particular namespace and delegate administrative control in the child domain. The environment provides us with control over authentication and sharing resources as well. The Dirt.Corp and EU Dirt.Corp domains utilize a logical structure that included 2 domain controllers, a router, a file server, and a member server in all 3 of our locations. We will be using Active Directory in all of our locations with control of everyday tasks being delegated in the OU structure. We will also set up GPOs for some company-wide uniformity, both of which will be covered in detail a little later. A big part of the logical structure are the domain controllers. The domain controller is a server that responds to authentication requests like logging on. It also checks permissions throughout the domain, enforces security policies, and installs software. There are 2 types of domain controllers. The primary, which is essentially the first one that is added, and the backups, which will be used in the case of a failure to the primary controller, mainly to ensure reliability and redundancy. We set up the domain controllers through Windows 2012 R2 roles and features. Once we set up the primary DC and created the domain, the same process was used to set up the backup. Because of the critical nature of the domain controllers, Microsoft best practice dictated that the domain controllers should be dedicated solely to domain services and not used for services that may slow down or crash the system, such as filing or printing. The domain controllers carry a lot of information such as the schema, sysvol. They can run DHCP and DNS, and they also used to set up trust between domains and forwards. The domain controller is also the centerpiece of Windows Active Directory, which will be discussed next by Stephen.
Thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. Hello, my name is Stephen Sullivan. More commonly known as Sullivan. Active Directory, in short, is the means of storing and managing resources in a domain. As Troy stated before, we had 2 domain controllers at each location, LA, New York, Sweden. The reason being behind that, as Troy also stated, in case one were to fail, for whatever reason that may be, the other one will take its place temporarily, to get the slack. Creating along with the primary domain controller, which is located in LA, is something that is known as local, in short, is pretty much its synonyms. It contains information and data on everything in the application. I could talk about the global catalog all day long. It is so vast in its purpose. For example, should a user want to log on to a different computer, say if I wanted to log into a computer on New York using my LA credentials, they would have to consult the global catalog before it allows access. That's my colleague, Austin, who would like to discuss trust. Thank you.
Thanks, Sully. Hello, I'm Austin Mill. Today I'll be talking to you guys about trust in forest. A trust is a useful way to allow users from a domain or forest to access services in a trusted domain or other forest. This makes sharing resources and communicating easier between the separate domains. Also, having trust between separate domains makes making each one easier for admins. Managing each one as admins easier having trust between separate domains makes managing each one easier for admins, as they only have to manage a single domain and not all of them at once. In building our network, we decided to go with a parent-child domain with a transitive two-way trust, which is set by default when promoting the domain controllers. Transitive trust relationships flow upward through a domain tree as it is formed, creating transitive trust between all domains in a domain tree. We also set an external two-way non-transitive trust between the parent domain, dirt.org, and a future trusted domain. Unlike the two-way transitive trust, this two-way non-transitive trust only allows dirt.org and the future trusted domain to share and communicate between one another, but cannot channel down to the child domain underneath the parent. Now for us, they act like an upside down tree. Everything starts with the root as a hierarchy, channels down from there. So being that dirt.org was set as the first domain controller, this makes it the root forest tree. This forest gives sign their domain name through DNS, which Craig will go into more detail about that.
Thank you, Austin. My name is Craig Bronk. I'm here to give a brief description of DNS and WINS. DNS, or Domain Name Service System, allows us to resolve wholly qualified domain claims to IPs on the internet or private network. We have mentioned Active Directory earlier. DNS is used for mapping out the structure of Active Directory and making it possible to have an organized name structure. DNS allows users to locate network resources and websites by using the name instead of memorizing hundreds of IP addresses. DNS servers allows us to resolve names on the internet and also on the internet. And the DNS servers use root hints to resolve the names on the internet by using iterative queries. When the local DNS server cannot resolve a query using its cache or database, it sends a query to one of the DNS root servers on the internet. The root server will respond to a referral which contains the addresses of the DNS authoritative or top-level domain in the query, which is our pool.org. The local server will then query one of the servers in the referral, which responds to another referral in a different location until it finds the information that it's looking for. It's given in the response of a second-level domain name, and that's the third. The process keeps occurring until it locates the fully qualified domain name in the client server that we're looking for. Recursive name queries are generally made by a DNS client in the DNS server or by a DNS server that is configured to pass unresolved name queries to another DNS server. In this case, the DNS server is configured as a form. A DNS server provides an authoritative answer for queries for records and zones stored in the DNS database. We will be setting up a primary zone, because when you have Active Directory and domain, for the main server, you install DNS along with it. The main server you operate DNS is on your primary zone. It gives you administrator read-write capabilities, stores all information within the force of the APS. We're looking at setting up a secondary zone. This zone is a copy of the primary zone. It is located on another remote DNS server that also contains the host of it. The zone has read-only capabilities and must have network access to the remote DNS server that supplies the server with updated information about it. I'm going to give a brief description of WINS. WINS, or Windows Internet Naming Service, provides a dynamic replicated database service that can register and resolve NetBIOS names to IP addresses that are used on your network. Primarily supports clients that run early versions of Windows operating systems and applications that require NetBIOS. Environments that include older computers that continue to use NetBIOS names on the same network as computers that use DNS names must use WINS servers in addition to the DNS server. And now I'll pass it on to Nick, who will discuss the OU structure.
Thank you, Craig. Alright, now let's look at how these domains within the forest are organized and controlled to give access to resources from across the forest and apply policies in the domain. This is accomplished by use of well-structured organizational units containing objects within each domain. As you can see here, OU for the Derp.corp, and we've also mirrored this for our Sweden site, the EU.derp.corp location. And this is to facilitate easy communication between administrators when discussing their issues in their respective domains. Also note that the scheme is able to be expanded as needed when our company expands. When we constructed our OU, we had to keep in mind that the group policy objects are linked to this structure and not to groups or users, but more of this will be brought up when Russ covers group policy objects. Also note that we've made a separate OU for the IT department, domain local groups, universal groups, and for each physical location within the derp.corp domain. This will allow for better application of our group policy objects and separating permissions for groups within the domains. So what are these objects we're talking about? There are three we're going to be discussing today. These are users, groups, and resources. Users are you, me, and anybody else with an authorized account within the domain. They only exist within the domain they are created in and are not directly given permissions to resources on the network. Rather, they are members of groups. Groups are objects that we use to give access to resources in our forest. We place them into groups. We place users into groups to limit necessary changes needed to be made across the domain. For example, when a user would be brought on to the domain or an account is deactivated within the domain. There are three types of groups: global, universal, and domain local. Global groups, as you can see, we've given the abbreviation of GG, are reserved on our network to only have users as members. This will allow us to create groups tailored to the roles within the company. DerpCorp has said that these groups will not be any larger than the office department, such as sales. We also encourage that when divisions of duties in these departments occur, that it's reflected within the organizational unit and the global groups within them. For example, the HR department is set up between payroll and personnel to denote that they also have these roles to facilitate within their respective domains. Domain local groups, and again we've abbreviated this with DL, are groups within each domain that we have actually given permissions to resources on that domain. For example, the sales drive on the derp.corp is a shared drive for our sales department, and the security shares tabs with limited access to only the domain local groups from the sales and one group from accounting. Note that there are two groups for sales with the names read and modify. This is important. When we give out share permissions, we want to know who can have access to that resource, what level access they have. By naming the domain local groups with this intended access, allows us to easily have oversight over these permissions. Universal groups, or again abbreviated UG, will be nested into global groups for multiple, will be used to nest global groups for multiple domains in order to grant access to resources on their domain. These universal groups will then be nested in their own domain local groups for granting permissions. As you can see here, this means that the global groups of this domain and the universal groups are given separate permissions within the sales drive by way of their respective domain local groups. Speaking of creating users and groups, I'd like to go over how we facilitate that within the DerpCorp domain. As you can see, we do two forms of adding users at DerpCorp. The first is through the GUI for single user adding. This is normally what we're going to do on a day-to-day. However, during the summer, we do have internships and we added lots of people at a single time, in which case we'll use a set of syntax within PowerShell to facilitate multiple user inputs at a single time. There are third-party applications that will allow you to use spreadsheets to do this. However, DerpCorp does not employ these methods at the time. I would like to pass it over to Russ now, and he will cover our group policies.
Thank you, Nick. I am Russell Warren, and I will be discussing our group policy, group policy As Nick had mentioned, we have a relatively defined OU structure, and this enables us to drill down our policy objects to a specific OU if necessary. Group policy is essentially a centralized means of controlling users and computers. Why we do this? It's simple. It's one location and it affects everyone. Otherwise, you have to go to each location and every computer for every user and configure a local policy there. A boss probably would not pay for those airline miles. Now, what is a GPO? GPO is simply a container that contains a group policy object. We link those to various either domains, sites, or organizational units, as we will see on our next slide. Going into our processing order and precedence. Processing order is a way in which GPOs are read, while the precedence order is a way in which they're enforced. In any case, the most restrictive policy will run out. In other words, if somebody at the domain level gives permission for a resource, but the local policy denies it, that resource will be denied for that user. This brings us to enforcing and blocking inheritance. Enforcing is simply stating that this GPO is allowed below domain object, whether it be a domain site or OU level. As you see here, we have for enforced. We have our background, which sets uniformity. We have our screensaver for data security. The default, which we use for our password policy, also for security. And we also did a file rewrite. As you can see with our IT, we did block inheritance. That means any non-enforced GPOs will not apply. In this case, based on job roles, we want the IT department to have those functions do their job, such as command prompts and remote access. Now, going over our password policy, we see that we have our 10 password remember that they are good for 30 days for that to be changed. And then they have to wait at least 5 days before they change it. This is important so that users don't get lazy and change their password right after they change it again, so they can memorize it. This forces them to get a habit of a new password, by which time they will just use that password until it expires. In doing this, we set up and tested these GPOs to make sure they did not conflict. This was done using a group policy following wizard. At this time, there are no conflicts. As we do have multiple domains, group policies are assigned to each domain. Mostly this is due to legal restrictions. And once our legal department forwards the regulations from Europe to us, we will implement those GPOs. As a demonstration, we will show you some of our users, how these GPOs are applied. For example, this is a marketing user. And we see that he does not have access to the command prompt, task manager, run command, or he's not able to shut down his computer, which allows us to be able to do updates and backups and so forth. Here. Alright, changing over to our admin user, we'll be able to see that he has access to the registry as soon as it signs out.
access to that resource. Going back to a regular help desk user, I'll show that you will have the other access, but you won't have the access of the resident. He has access to command prompts, and he wants to go in and try to mess with stuff, and you see that he's blocked. And on that note, we will hand this over to Sean to go over our IPC and DHCP.
Thank you, Russell. My name is Sean Loman. I'm going to explain how we ensure network connectivity for each of the computers within our network. We do this with the use of DHCP and a well-planned out IP scheme. Each of the machines on our network need to have its own IP address. It needs to have a DNS address, default gateway, and then each server and a subnet mask. Now with the servers, it's easy enough to configure all this information statically. However, with the vast number of client machines in our network, we decided that this is not a practical solution. So instead, we decided to leave each of the client machines set with the default configuration. What happens in this case is when the computer attaches to the network physically, it initiates the DORA process, which stands for Discover, Offer, Request, and Acknowledge. Once this is complete, then the client has been configured correctly and is able to communicate on our network. When we configure the DHCP server, we're required to set certain values. Some of those values are the IP range, the subnet mask that we're using, any exclusions, and the lease duration. Optional settings that we chose to use were the DNS server, the Win server, and the default gateway. The reason we chose to use these is because we want the DORA process to end with a fully functional and fully configured client machine. Because of the essential nature of our DHCP servers, we've chosen to use 2 on each site. The first one handles the workload the vast majority of the time, and the second server is set as a failover with hot standby, so that if the first one goes down for maintenance, the second takes up the slack. When planning our DHCP servers, we had to consider that each of our locations has a maximum capacity of 700 users, and we want to run that on a single network. This led us to a Cyber 22, giving us a subnet mask of 255.255.252.0. We have a possibility of 1,022 usable hosts and 64 networks. Each location is designed to handle current needs plus any future growth. We can take a look at the example on the handout in front of you of our New York IP scheme. We have a total range from 10.0.0.1 through 10.0.3.254. As you can see, that's 1,022 hosts as I described above. We decided to exclude the first 30 IP addresses for our server, or the first 10 IP addresses for our servers. The next 30 for reservations with printers. The following 10 were used for VPN connections, and the last 5 are used for our routers. You may ask why we use so many exclusions, and that's just one more piece of documentation so we know exactly what we're using this for. The subnet mask range and exclusions I just mentioned are the values that are set in DHCP to ensure that each client machine can network seamlessly within each of our local networks. Now I will let Dan come up and let you know how we connect our multiple networks together.
Thank you, Sean.
Hi, my name is Dan Cassidy. In order for all this communication to take place between networks, we need to use a process called routing and remote access, or RAS. Routing is essentially the function of managing IPs. Control routing between multiple networks by using routing tables. Routing tables are specific entries within our routers that contain pointers to one another. These entries include gateway IP, destination network IP, the interface, and protocol that's actually using that IP. We manage routing tables either dynamically or statically. Dynamic routing, such as RIP or RIP version 2, use broadcast and multicast methods to share routing tables amongst one another. Any changes in those routing tables is made automatically. The limitations to RIP is that the broadcast and multicasts happen fairly frequently, and they can create unwanted traffic on the network with large networks. There's also a 15-hop count limit in distance between routers, which can limit your external network size. The obvious benefit being dynamic updates. Static routing requires manually configured routes, meaning a network administrator would have to configure these routes on each router and update them when needed. The benefit to static routing, however, is there's no broadcast or multicast, so it creates makes for a lighter network. We chose static routing in our build due to large spans between our networks, few locations, and our public IP is static. One of the problems that we can have with routing, though, is IP conflicts. Private networks across the internet use unregistered IPs and IP schemes, and when you look at all those different networks, there's a chance that there will be duplicate information within them. So in order to traverse the World Wide Web and reach these networks without conflict, we use NAT. NAT, or Network Address Translation, converts these internal IPs while in transit through the router so they can reach the desired source over the external bandwidth. Once these routing translations have been addressed, we can concentrate on creating secure connections between hosts and clients. This brings me to the subject of remote access and VPN, virtual private network. VPN is a private connection or tunnel that we can create between two network devices over the internet so that a computer and a remote router can communicate to a specific local area network. We chose L2TP, Layer 2 transport protocol to create these tunnels in lieu of older protocols such as PPTP, due to wider support and more proven encryption protocols that can be incorporated for use with L2TP, such as IPsec. IPsec, or Internet Protocol Security, is a protocol that authenticates and encrypts packets when sent through this tunnel. This encryption that IPsec provides, even by today's standards, is significant and should be secure for years to come. We have two types of connections that will require a VPN, site-to-site and our remote users. For our build, we decided to use static routes to create site-to-site connectivity. For a live application, we would probably recommend using a demand dial configuration between sites. The demand dial feature would allow for an on-demand dial connection that we can use L2TP IPsec in a very complex pre-shared key in order to create that connection. This connection would automatically disconnect when traffic became idle or after hours, reducing network load. For remote users, we again choose L2TP IPsec with a pre-shared key. However, in a live application, we would probably recommend using a certificate. The reason we would do that is to reduce the amount of management we would need for pre-shared keys with all the users. And if we decided that we needed to revoke a certificate for a specific machine, we could do that through the certification for certificate holders. I'd also like to note that by using a feature within the RAS management console called NPS, a network policy server, we can grant permissions to something as simple as a group to have remote access. This way, the ability to allow users remote access can be completely and easily controlled using group policy. Logging, authentication, encryption standards, and also session control limits can all be controlled through NPS. We've used two NPS policies, one for IT and one for standard users. For IT, we really didn't set any restrictions. However, for standard users, we chose a maximum session idle time of 10 minutes without a restriction really on the time a user could be logged in. However, we did prevent session connections between Friday and Sunday from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in case IT needed to make sure everyone was logged out for updating the patches. Speaking of control limits, this concludes routing and remote access. Connor folks will join us now for a summary on the firewall. Thank you.
Dan. My name is Connor Foltz. I will be explaining how we implemented our firewall today and basically a brief overview of it. Firewalls are the first line of defense against cyber attacks. Firewalls can be an actual physical device or just an application software. They're placed on the perimeter of your network to act as a bodyguard for all inbound and outbound traffic. Firewalls establish rules that decide what traffic is or is not allowed in or out of the network. They can be configured in just the firewall properties or through group policy, which I'll explain. In group policy, you can allow secure or block connections. Both inbound and outbound rules can be created here and distributed across the entire domain. The firewall wizard can restrict access to certain IPs or domains, and it can also block certain types of traffic by blocking TCP/IP ports they use. There are many well-known ports that must be open in order for your machine to run correctly in the network. For our build, we decided to change the remote desktop protocol port from 3389 to 62000 just for ensured security. It's just one more step a hacker has to take to get into our system. There are many mechanisms out there to help bolster your firewall. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to fully experiment with them, but I will explain one of the most common services. Proxy servers are in use by almost every company with a network. They can be configured to block access to certain websites and filter certain port traffic to protect your network. Generally, they are put in place to boost your network using a cache. The cache keeps frequently visited websites, so instead of searching for it over the web, it just pulls it straight from the cache. And it also hides your IPs to make it appear that all transmissions are coming from the proxy itself. There are new vulnerabilities and holes found every day. A hacker can break in, take control of your computer for use in a denial of service attack, steal, or destroy your data. Keeping the system up to date and patched, as well as running an updated antivirus software, are necessary pieces of the puzzle. But using a firewall to filter and block incoming connections is definitely a wise idea. No one security solution will solve everything. The more lines of defense you have in place, the harder it is for hackers to gain access, and the safer you will be. We're going to get into the file system information now. I'm going to bring up Penny for that.
Hey all, I'm Ken Freeman. I'm going to go over a little bit of our file storage systems that we utilize. We set up both our file server and the member server as a backup to it for local replications. We chose, due to current hardware restrictions, we chose to use a RAID 1 mirror on the servers due to its fault tolerance and data availability provided by the mirror holding 2 complete copies of all the files. The RAID 1 setup also provides faster read times than a single disk would. Moving forward over the coming year, we do plan on beginning to utilize RAID 5 just for better performance that it offers. With the file servers, DFS, or Distributed File Services, is a role within the Windows Server product that allows efficient replication of your files and folders across multiple servers and domains within a forest. Namespaces are what are utilized within DFS to group those folders into one or more logical structures. Each namespace is going to appear to the user as a single shared folder with multiple subfolders beneath it. We utilize the namespaces for each department volume within the mirrored drives to simplify the appearance for the users as well as assist with the replication. The replication used within DFS is RDC, or Remote Differential Compression. It detects the changes to the data, enabling DFS to replicate only the changed data blocks rather than the entire file, which allows for a little quicker replication to ensure that our users have access to the most up-to-date version of that file at all times. At this point, I would like to bring Bruce up to go over our backup systems.
Thank you, Ken. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bruce Welton. Some of you guys know me as Bubbles. I'll be speaking with you guys about Windows Backup. Windows Backup is a feature that's in Server 2012 R2 that we installed to help us back up and restore our applications, our operating system, and our data. There are 2 types of backups available: full backup and incremental. A full backup is a backup that copies all files and folders on the system. And an incremental backup is a backup that copies any files that have been created or modified since the last backup. At Dirt Corp, we implemented incremental backups daily, and we wanted to perform our full backups on the weekends, on a weekly basis. For catastrophic purposes, we will have a third party come in and pick up those backups at each site and store it off-site. And now I would like to pass it on to Rain Tyndall, the lovely First Lady of Dirt Corp, to conclude this presentation.